You asked for it. So I'm going to cover both Coursera and LinkedIn Learning here in 2020. I'm going to cover the pros and the cons of each and share with you what I feel is the best option coming up. Hey, I'm Sam with Systems of Impact, your place for growth-minded millennials looking to find their six-figure career. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and that bell notification so you don't miss out on any career advice as it's uploaded. Just like my Skillshare vs. Udemy video, this is not a sponsored video and there are no affiliate links for either platform. This is merely just my opinion. Now, the whole purpose of diving into something like Coursera or LinkedIn Learning is you're really starting to go after skill acquisition towards something. So for example, if you're wanting that big raise or you want that promotion, or you're going after that shiny new job, Coursera or LinkedIn Learning are going to help you build those skills to make that jump over to where you're trying to get to. So once you've made that move beyond curiosity and you're starting to move into that interest phase, that's typically when you'll start to actually pay for these courses. So let's dive into the differences between Coursera and LinkedIn Learning. So as we dive into Coursera, here's the tails of the tape. You can go ahead and sign up for a 7-day free trial, but with Coursera, it was actually kind of confusing. So I'll kind of dig into this a little bit deeper in a moment. But just like many of them, there are no ads. It has mobile access. One difference is Coursera does have college level courses provided by colleges and universities throughout the United States. And there's roughly about 3,000 plus courses on that platform today. Now, the really confusing piece with Coursera is how its pricing structure is laid out. So you sign up for this 7-day free trial, and what that free trial actually entails is you can access all the different courses, but it only goes up to a certain point. So you can do like the certifications, but that's really about it, which if that's what you're going for is perfect in that 7 days if you can get them knocked out. The key here is with their courses, it's on a course by course basis. So think of it as a tiered system. Okay, so when you're signing up for a particular course, it can run, $39 up to $79 if you want that certification. Now, if you want more feedback from the course instructor, that's another add-on. If you want course assignments and grading, that's another add-on. You have the baseline price for the certifications, but there's additional add-ons that you can do for it. So when I was going through and trying to figure out this pricing structure, it was super confusing to figure out. And one thing I ended up finding out after the fact was it also has a pro option, which is $399 per year. And that gives you access to all of the courses and all of the certifications if you want to go that route. With Coursera, it is very confusing from a pricing standpoint to know what you're about to walk into. So as you go through that, you can sign up for the free course or the free trial, go through the different courses and see what they actually are, what the pricing is, because it's on a course by course basis and you won't know until you sign up for it. So that brings me to the pros of Coursera. And like I mentioned, these are college level courses and it has specializations around these courses. So for example, with data science, you have the statistical aspect, you have the mathematical aspect, and then you have the data science piece of it or the programming. And so it was very structured in how you went about it. The key piece here, and this is kind of a little bit into the cons section for a moment. If you have 6 courses, you're going to have 6 different potential certifications. So just keep that in mind as you're going through this process. Another pro with Coursera is they use cohorts. So each class starts at a particular date. And so as people sign up for this particular course, you're all going along in the same path. And especially with a specialization, then you're seeing it, all 6 courses, for example, or 9 courses, you're all with the same group of people. And that's also one of the pros is that specialization piece. It really takes the guesswork of which course is coming next. If you built a particular specialization like data science, it walks you through that entire process. Same thing with some of the computer science aspects as well. So one of those pros is it does some of that guesswork for you so you're not having to do it. Cons, as we get into those, like I mentioned, the cohorts, you do have specified start dates. So you may sign up on today's date, but you may not start for a month. So just something to also keep in mind is it's not a go at your own pace kind of course. They do have a particular schedule as you go through these processes. And the biggest con for Coursera by far is the pricing structure. This thing was seriously confusing to figure out. It took a lot of digging into it because Coursera doesn't provide pricing on their website inherently. I had to go and dig it up. In the Pro version, I didn't even find until almost after the fact. So as you're going through this process, make sure that, again, with Coursera, that you're finding out exactly what the pricing structure is, either for the course or the specialization that you're going after, and then take a look at it from that standpoint. And that brings us to LinkedIn Learning. Let's get to the tails of the tape of that. So with LinkedIn Learning, it's part of the LinkedIn service. So depending on how you approach it, it's either part of it or it's just a segment of it. But regardless, it ties directly to your LinkedIn profile. That means it can be accessed in two different ways. You can either do one where you're using LinkedIn Learning by itself, which is $29.99 a month, or you can do LinkedIn Premium, which is also $29.99 a month. The premium version also gives you access to different aspects of the LinkedIn platform. So you can use InMail, you can do recently searched, you can see who's viewed you so far over the last 90 days. It gives you additional benefits. So that's also something to keep in mind with the premium version. There are no ads with LinkedIn Premium. It's also not accredited. So that's something to keep in mind. So if you're trying to get continuing education for most of the courses, that may not be relevant. So something to keep in mind. It is relatively business focused. So obviously, and there are over 30,000 courses provided on that platform. And that brings us to the pros of LinkedIn Learning. The biggest pro is that it's very business focused. So LinkedIn, obviously being a professional network platform, the courses that it provides are helping you in skill sets, and they're generally tied to particular skills. So if you've seen some of my other videos where you can go through and use LinkedIn to find skills, to find positions, to dig up some of those areas, LinkedIn Learning can then be leveraged to get those particular skills that you've been digging into. So it's a great pathway as you're going through this process. Like Coursera, LinkedIn Learning also has Learning Paths. So think of it like the specializations in the Coursera world. So it essentially gives you a path for a particular item. So like with data science, it had something similar to what Coursera had. And it just gives you a path of what that process looks like and what courses you need to take to get that skill set. The other pro is that it can be part of LinkedIn Premium. And so not just having LinkedIn Learning, but you also get access to LinkedIn Premium. So those InMails, the who's viewed you in the last 90 days, and the different suite that you get with LinkedIn Premium. So that's definitely a big benefit. You also get completion badges that you can put on your LinkedIn profile. So not the same as certifications per se, but in your LinkedIn profile, you can also see that someone has particularly done a course or a specialization, and you can see that LinkedIn badge. So that's also a definite benefit there as well. Another pro is that LinkedIn also gives you a 30-day free trial in most cases. So when you're going through that process, you can sign up for that 30-day free trial and see if it's even something that you like. And that brings us to the cons of LinkedIn Premium. Kind of like Skillshare was, it's a subscription-based service. So as soon as you stop paying for the subscription, you no longer get access to those particular courses. However, one benefit is that once you do finish a particular course or specialization or path, that badge stays on your LinkedIn profile, regardless if you have LinkedIn Premium or not. So the only piece of it here is the con is that you lose access to those courses. Now, the next two cons are kind of hand in hand, but you're looking at instructor quality can be hit or miss on LinkedIn from what I've seen. They may not have as much experience as you may potentially like in a particular course, and so it may not be as in-depth as you may like. So when you're going through the different courses, make sure that you're also looking into the instructor and to see how much experience they actually have to make sure that you're actually getting the best time out of this particular course. And that also ties into the second piece of that con, where the course quality is generally pretty good, but what it doesn't tell you is how recent that course is. So for example, some of those courses are relatively old and no longer are relevant to their particular segment. So in data science, as an example, over the last couple of years, it's made a lot of different strides and has become way more advanced in certain areas. So the statistical models, the mathematical models, all that stuff is relatively the same. But the tools that you use and the leverage and to get the outcomes that you're looking for may have changed. And so some of those older courses are no longer relevant. So as you're going through this process, make sure to identify the course and get a general sense of how old or how recent it may be. And that brings me to my personal opinion here. The biggest thing is I tested them both under the data science track. And my personal opinion is LinkedIn Learning is better for most people. Now, I'll put a caveat to that in terms of if you're going after something that needs continuing education, or you're looking for something that is more degree or certification focused, Coursera might be a better shot for you depending on what you're going after. But from a generalist term, LinkedIn Learning is going to give you the different skills that you're wanting to go after, the pathways that you're going to go after with them, and you can provide it on your LinkedIn profile, which adds that added benefit for when you're going after recruiters or hiring managers. They can look directly on your profile and see that you've done something and that you've passed a particular skill set piece. And that brings me to the question of the day. Over the last couple videos, we've done different learning opportunities here. So whether it's Skillshare, Udemy, Coursera, LinkedIn Learning, what platform can you take on today and what skill can you go ahead and just jump into right now? For a majority of them, they give you free trials. So there's no reason why not to just jump in and start learning something new today. What is that new skill that you're going to pick up today that is going to get you where you want to go to tomorrow? I appreciate you taking some time to see the differences between Coursera and LinkedIn Learning and providing the benefits of each, what the cons are of each, and how you can leverage whichever platform is going to make the most sense for you. If you have any questions, make sure to put those in the comments below, and I look forward to your success.